Well, good morning, racing fans. Tuesday, the 2nd of April. Been a reasonable weekend, a little bit of profit. Friday was difficult, all weather finals day at Newcastle. Always really, really tricky. Quite hard to whittle down the field when there's a lot of good horses on the all weather, and then obviously having to whittle that down when we haven't really got ground and things like that to be able to sort of reduce the field. So it wasn't the greatest day on Friday, but luckily I didn't put any tips out, so we're all good for that. Weekend not too bad, up overall. But now we're going to move on to today. Quiet day on the racing front. Pontefract, Ludlow and Wolverhampton, that's all we've got going today. Pontefract on the flat, Ludlow, a little bit of jumps, end of season jumps racing, and then we've got all weather on the Wolves later on tonight. So start off with Pontefract. Now, first, again, not a huge amount of, there's a lot of short fields today, short price favourites. That's not my thing, as you know. So start off with Pontefract, flat racing. It's heavy to soft to heavy ground up there. So I always believe that, ground is, for me, the most important thing when it comes to horses. I mean, I know you've got this sort of thing, but the ground can beat a good horse. So I actually like it when we have extreme weather. Very, very firm ground, very, very soft ground, because it's sort of, it whittles out a lot in the middle of the road. When it's sort of like good to soft and good in places and things like that, it's quite hard, because most of these horses can run reasonably well on that sort of surface. So anyway, so as for today, there's not a huge amount of betting angles, and there's quite a few Dutches I've gone for today, where you've got races that have got quite a top heavy market, top three in the field quite strong. So quite a few lot of Dutches, and that starts with a 15-15 at Pontefract. I've Dutched two against the favourite, which is Glorious Moon, with When Moon and Vintage Clarets. Both good horses on soft ground. Glorious Moon's the shortest. Glorious Angel, sorry, not Glorious Moon. Glorious Angel, the favourite. It's got form against better competition, but its recent form, certainly on the surface, isn't any better in my opinion. So I believe that, taking the two against the one, I feel like we might have a good shout with that as a reasonable Dutch. Prices are still there, so it's not too bad. Moving on to the 16-15, once again, exchange, win only, just on Bushfire. Bustram is the big favourite in that race. It's got good form. It won by a large margin last time out. But there's always angles, especially in flat racing. This is what I've said before. Flat racing, there's a lot of hard luck stories in flat racing. And I believe that, there's no such thing as a sure thing. And Bushfire's got good form, comes from a yard that are in good form as well. So not been seen for a while, but the yard it's from making good headway recently. So we'll go for Bushfire. So that's all we've got at Pontefract for today. Moving on to Ludlow. Once again, we're looking for soft to heavy ground. 1500 is the first bet I've got there. Got three places with 365. I'm actually playing three places on this, where most people are doing two. I've gone for Tedley. Up against the favourite again. There's a lot of good quality horses in that race, but I think that Tedley raced again at Sandown recently. It seemed like the standard was a little bit too high, but previous to that, it got excellent form. It was placing nearly every single time. It goes on the ground, and I think it's a reasonable alternative to the two at the front of the market. So Tedley each way, three places, 365. I think it's a pretty decent bet. 1600 again. Gone for another Dutch on the exchange with Passing Kate and Royal D-side against the favourite. Once again, I find that this strategy tends to work quite well. But when the market's really settled into basically what is essentially a three-horse race, taking the two against the one, I do believe that I do find that over the course of the year it does seem to pay off quite well, especially when you're taking on even money shots. So I'm quite happy to take that bet on there at Ludlow, and that's basically it for the afternoon. Unfortunately, it's a quiet day. Moving on to Wolves in the evening. 16:35. Got three places with William Hill. I've gone for Virtual Hug. It's a tight race, a lot of good horses in there, but Virtual Hug looks quite a solid contender there, and I think we've got about 6-1 on Virtual Hug, so I think that's quite a nice little bet. 19:30, we've got 365 of playing out for four places. I've gone for Bailey's Warrior. Again, doesn't win that often, but it has won. It has won recently on. It did perform very well against better company recently, so I thought Bailey's Warrior was worth a shout against this company. And then finally, the 2000, gone three places, William Hill. I'm going to Mulhallel. Once again, similar thing to the Bailey's Warrior approach against the top 2 in the market. I feel like it's got good form, so and could perform very well. It's certainly a very good solid bet for the placings. It's almost like a bet to nothing in my opinion. So that's it for today. So good luck to everyone. Once again, you can lose today, win tomorrow, and profit over the year. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. So let's just pick up a little bit as we go along. Right, have a great day, guys. Cheers.